The Royal Albert Hall has been transformed into Cherry Tree Lane, especially for this evening, and Mary Poppins fever has blown in across the capital today. As you were commuting this morning, you may have spotted Mary Poppins on top of one of the capsules of the London Eye. Lots of people are taking photographs of that this morning, all preparing for this European premiere here this evening, and so much excitement with loads and loads of people already arrived in anticipation of catching a glimpse of Emily Blunt, who we know has just arrived here on the red carpet, is filling the shoes of Julie Andrews, playing the role of Mary Poppins 50 years after the original was released. Also arrived here this evening already is Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is taking on the role of lamplighter Jack in the film. So many other stars expected to be here tonight who are starring in the film. But before I say any more about that, let's take a look at the trailer.
Don't you remember that kite? We used to love flying that with Mother and Father.
Those days are long behind me.
That's why I live and breathe.
Mary.
Poppins, you came back.
You seem hardly to have aged at all.
Really? One never discusses a woman's age, Michael. Would have hoped I taught you better.
I miss Mother.
Nothing's gone forever, only out of place.
How'd you do that?
Do what?
Everything is possible.
Even the impossible. Off we go.
This is such a highly anticipated film. It's been years in the making, and of course it's already tipped for Oscar success. The film's already picked up 4 Golden Globe nominations, with Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda being up for nominations for their parts in the film, and also Mark Shaman, the composer, also being up for a Golden Globe for this entirely original music in the film, which some of it's being played out behind me at the moment as part of the premiere, and the first time that is being heard here today. So much excitement ahead of the European premiere here tonight. First time people are going to be finally getting to see this film. But if you'd like to see it for yourself, it's coming out on the 21st of December, and it is certain to be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Really? One never discusses a woman's age, Michael. Would have hoped I taught you better.
We are just seeing Colin Firth just walking up onto the main stage here to have his interview in front of hundreds of people who have come out today to try and catch a glimpse of all of the stars. You can hear lots of screaming going on behind me. Now, as I said, this film picks up around 20 years after the original finish, and it stars Emily Mortimer and Ben Whishaw as the Banks children. And in this film, Ben Whishaw, of course, plays Michael Banks, whose children star in the film as the children who Mary Poppins comes back to look after, but also says, as you saw in the trailer, that she's there to look after the Banks children as well. This film also features a lot of animation. Speaking previously, the director said that he had to get some of the animators out of retirement to work on the film because they wanted it to be just like the original animation used. So many intricate details in this film to move it forward, of course, to today, but also to throw back to that original film, which is held so dear to so many. And of course, this film coming out on the 21st of December in the UK is sure to teach another generation of children that a spoonful of sugar does help the medicine go down. Certainly have Katie. In fact, one of the stars joins me right now, Jim Norton, who plays Mr. Binnacle in the film. Thank you for being on the programme. How have you found this evening so far?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, it's very excited people out there. Yeah, standing in the cold, real Mary Poppins fans. Yeah.
You play Mr. Binnacle. Tell me about that part.
Well, he's the next door neighbour. He and the old what do I call him? David Warner plays the other part, and David sadly can't be here tonight. I mean, we're really joined at the hip in this movie, but he can't be here for various reasons. So he sends his love to everybody.
What was it like being part of such a huge film as Mary Poppins Returns?
It was wonderful. It's wonderful. I mean, I know the stories so well because when my kids were little, I remember reading them because there are lots of those books, and they're magical stories. And of course, we all saw the original movie. But this is moving on. This is another aspect of the Banks family, and it was a joy to be part of it.
What do you think the future generation will take away from this film?
Well, I guess they'll take away the same magic of the original, the original movie that they made all those years ago. It's just a great story. It's heartwarming. It's full of life and full of love, which is what we need lots of at the moment.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jim. It's lovely to meet you.
Nice Christmas.
You too. Thank you so much. And a little earlier on, I also caught up with Lin-Manuel Miranda, who stars in the film as Jack. Let's just take a quick look at that.
I rode that bike all day, every day on my lunch break. I chained myself to my dialect coach, Sandra Butterworth, and worked on that lovely East End 1930s accent. And I just embraced every bit of it. Rob Marshall trusts you and gives you all of this incredible confidence, and you just try to earn it. Yeah. I just couldn't believe that they were making a sequel to Mary Poppins, and I was so excited that Emily over there is playing the role because she's perfect for it.
How did you find living in London for the year doing it?
Yeah.
How did you find living in London?
Oh, I loved it. That was actually one of the most beautiful parts of the process. Living here for 8 months was such a dream come true. Discovering all your candies, eating chocolate frogs. It was wonderful.
The fantastic Lin-Manuel Miranda there, telling me what it was like being in London, of course, when the fantastic Hamilton musical, which he wrote and starred in Broadway, came out in the West End last year, and he was living here to release that and also be part of this huge film, Mary Poppins Returns. Another star of the film, a little younger than Lin-Manuel Miranda, is Pixie Davies, who stars as one of the young Banks children, and I spoke to her a little earlier on.
It was the most fun experience, and it was such a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and honestly, I had the best time.
What was it like to work on with all the big actors and actresses?
So magical, and they really made the film experience just that much better. They're so lovely and down to earth.
And there were lots of stunts and other cartoon characters in the film as well. How did you find working around that on set?
It was so amazing, and being on the wires was the best feeling. Just gave you those butterflies that you get on a roller coaster, and you just kept them for the rest of the day.
How did you feel when you found out that you got the role?
I screamed, then I screamed, and then I screamed, and then I got a wooden spoon and pretended that it was a microphone and started running around the house. Yeah, that was fun.
And how did your friends at school react?
I couldn't tell them at first because it was quite hush-hush, because it was a big film and everything. So I would be on set dancing with Dick Van Dyke, and then I'd go to school and be in maths class, and then I'd be writing and I'd be like, oh, I'd be remembering all these things, and I couldn't tell them. And then as soon as they told them, they were all so excited and really happy for me.
And had you seen the original film?
Yes, I have. It's my favourite film, fun fact, so I was very excited.
And what's been your favourite part about being part of Mary Poppins and the whole thing that it is?
Shooting the scene Triple Little Light Fantastic. It's this beautiful dance number with so many talented dancers, and it just really, it's so exciting to watch it and actually remember that you were a part of it, and it was so amazing.
So many stars here this evening. Of course, Emily Blunt also walked the blue carpet tonight. She stars in the film as Mary Poppins, as we were talking about just now, 50 years on from the original film, and it takes place around 20 years after the original. Meryl Streep has just arrived. We can hear her speaking now, and she stars in the film as Topsy, alongside Colin Firth, who also stars as the banker in the film. So lots and lots of big names here this evening ahead of the European premiere. So much to do with this film is about the music. Of course, the first film was incredibly popular because of its soundtrack, and gained a lot of recognition for that. Those songs have stayed with us and stood the test of time. And judging by the fact that the soundtrack here tonight is also up for a Golden Globe Award, we can expect that one to be one that sticks with us as well and stands the test of time. If you'd like to see this film for yourself, it's coming out on the 21st of December. Everybody here is just getting ready to go inside and watch the film, which starts at 7:30, and everybody is really looking forward to catching a first glimpse of that for the people who haven't had the opportunity to see it before. As you say, it stars Emily Blunt in the leading role, and of course Lin-Manuel Miranda as Jack in the film as well. So many stars here tonight, and one of them I was speaking to a little earlier on, Kobana Holbrook-Smith, who's currently actually starring in Tina the musical in the West End, and he was telling me what it was like being part of this huge film.
This has been like unbelievable. I feel like it's such an iconic film that I knew from the moment I stepped on set that this was going to be important, and I've always tried to honour that. And let's hope I have. Yeah.
Tell me about your part in the film.
I play Fry. He's a lawyer. He works for the bank, and he's not very nice to the bank's family, but he does have a huge heart, and he redeems himself at some point. Yeah. Watched the original film loads. I mean loads and loads and loads when I was a kid. And then I don't even remember when I stopped watching it, but when I watched it back to research for this film, I remember being so pleased. There's so many flashbacks.
Also starring in the film are Ben Whishaw and Emily Mortimer, who act as the bank's children 20 years on. And just a minute ago, I had a chance to speak to Ben about what it's been like being part of this film.
Well, it picks up the story of the Banks family several decades later, and the children are now grown up, obviously, and a tragedy has befallen them, and they're struggling with life. And in fact, the whole country is struggling. There's a depression, and just when things feel like they are getting to the point of true disaster, Mary Poppins descends from the sky on a kite. Thank goodness. How
much did you use Michael's character in the original film to inspire your part in this?
Well, I suppose I felt like, I always have a feeling like we don't really, if I was to look at myself as how old is Michael in that first film? 6? I don't think I would look or behave or resemble in any way very much what I am now, so I didn't feel too tied down to that. Felt I sort of had a creative freedom.
How much fun did you have making this film? Heaps
of fun. Yeah, it was work, but it was joyous, truly delightful.
Also on the blue carpet this evening was Jeremy Swift, who stars in the film as Gooding, and I asked him what it was like playing that part.
It was hard work. We couldn't shy away from that. There was a big ask to do a sequel of such an iconic movie, but we all grafted and we had fun, and it was fantastic.
You'll have no doubt grown up watching Mary Poppins. How did it feel to be part of the sequel?
It's just... it's incredible to be, a small child and see it when it came out, which I was 4, and to be here now in a sequel so much later, because of course there hasn't been a sequel gap like this ever in movie history, so it's a first.
Everybody here heading into the Royal Albert Hall now to catch a glimpse of Mary Poppins Returns for the very first time. And if you would like to see the film for yourself, it comes out on the 21st of December, and it is sure to be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.